Greetings and salutations to Secret Talk. Delve into the hidden tales and mysteries surrounding infidelity alongside us. It all began with a mere look, a fleeting instant when the fabric of reality wavered, unveiling a realm both novel and uncharted. Never did I foresee that a seemingly mundane day would signify the conclusion of my former existence and the dawn of an entirely new chapter. Yet, life brims with unexpected twists, often emerging from the most unlikely places. Life in our tranquil suburb always appeared flawless to me. 5 years have passed since David and I made this place our home, a change prompted by his long-anticipated promotion at the company. Our new house became a snug sanctuary, a haven from the relentless clamor of the city. The setting was perfect for beginning a family journey. A charming 2-story house nestled amidst a sprawling garden where vibrant roses and fragrant lavender flourish, complemented by a generous terrace that became our favorite spot for dining under the warm embrace of summer evenings. Each morning unfolded with the rich scent of freshly brewed coffee wafting through the air, accompanied by the subtle hum of city life, a distant melody barely perceptible. The neighbors exuded a warmth and tranquility that drew us in, allowing friendships to blossom effortlessly. Particularly remarkable was Ethan, the neighbor residing across the street. He stood tall, his thick dark hair framing a face marked by piercing green eyes that seemed to delve deep into the very essence of one's soul. Ethan resided in his meticulously kept home, a sanctuary he had transformed into a genuine bastion of seclusion. During David's frequent business trips, the house took on an air of profound emptiness. I occupied the hours with various tasks, yet the burden of loneliness would occasionally press down on me. It was during these fleeting instances that Ethan would frequently appear before me. He always appeared to be close at hand, poised to offer assistance or simply partake in dialogue. Initially, it was merely fleeting conversations across the fence, a sharing of light-hearted remarks and laughter. Yet, as time passed, our dialogues expanded in both length and depth. One evening, as David embarked on yet another business trip, I chose to retreat to the terrace, accompanied by a glass of wine and a captivating book. The atmosphere was serene, punctuated solely by the melodic calls of nightbirds and the soft whisper of leaves in the breeze. As I lost myself in the pages of my book, the sound of footsteps broke through my concentration. As I lifted my gaze, I spotted Ethan making his way toward our fence. "Hello, Lena." His voice carried a gentle warmth, inviting and approachable. "Do you find yourself in solitude?" "Indeed. David is currently away on a business trip," I responded, attempting to maintain a nonchalant demeanor. "Feel free to enter if it pleases you." With unwavering resolve, Ethan vaulted over the fence and came to my side. He held a bottle of wine in one hand and 2 glasses in the other. "I thought you could use some company," he remarked, a smile playing on his lips. We lingered on the terrace, engaged in conversation and laughter. Time slipped away unobserved. Ethan revealed himself to be an exceptional conversationalist. His tales of work, travels, and the intricacies of life were captivating and engaging. An unusual magnetism pulsed between us, a blend of novelty and trepidation that was both exhilarating and unsettling. "You know, you're a wonderful conversationalist," Ethan remarked, his gaze locked onto mine. "It has been ages since I felt this at ease conversing with someone." These words quickened my heartbeat. There was an undeniable warmth in his gaze that enveloped me, making me feel uniquely cherished. I endeavored to stifle these emotions, persuading myself that it was merely camaraderie. I expressed my gratitude with a smile. "Thank you, Ethan. You are also a remarkable friend." The following day, the memory of that evening lingered in my mind, refusing to fade away. Ethan's presence lingered in my mind, refusing to fade away. His voice, his gaze, his smile, each a thread woven into the fabric of the moment. Everything lingered in my mind, drawing me into thoughts I ought to avoid. Yet I continued to persuade myself that it was merely a matter of camaraderie. Our encounters with Ethan grew increasingly regular. Our encounters in the yard were frequent, filled with conversations about the mundane. Yet, each word, each fleeting glance shared between us carried a profound significance. A sensation blossomed between us, yet I endeavored to dismiss it. On one of those evenings, when David found himself once more delayed at work, I resolved to stroll through the neighborhood. That evening, I encountered Ethan once more. Our dialogue unfolded naturally, and he proposed that we stroll side by side. As we wandered through the serene streets, our conversation meandered across a myriad of topics, and I sensed his presence growing ever more important to me. Ethan exhibited an unexpected level of attentiveness. He listened to me with an intensity that made every story I shared feel significant to him. It was delightful and refreshing. Anticipation grew within me for these gatherings, a desire to encounter him with increasing frequency. These strolls and dialogues transformed into a sanctuary for me, a deliverance from the monotony and solitude. Ethan was a constant presence, ever prepared to lend a hand or engage in conversation. A deeper connection began to blossom between us, yet I found myself hesitant to acknowledge it, even within the confines of my own heart. One evening, as we strolled side by side once more, Ethan halted and gazed directly into my eyes. "Lena." His voice carried a hushed intensity, imbued with a weighty solemnity. "Are you aware of your uniqueness?" These words resonated with the force of thunder breaking through a serene sky. Words eluded me. My heart raced, and I sensed an unfamiliar blend of fear and allure blossoming between us. "Ethan," I started, but he softly cut me off. "No, allow me to complete my thought," he insisted. "It is truly a joy to know such an incredible woman, and I cherish the friendship we've built." I forced a smile, concealing the turmoil within. It was in that instant that I understood our bond had transcended the realm of mere friendship. Yet I understood that I mustn't let myself venture any deeper. In the embrace of matrimony, my affection for David blossomed, deep and genuine. That evening I arrived home, my mind swirling with a tangle of thoughts and emotions. Confusion enveloped me as I grappled with the dynamics between Ethan and myself, a gnawing fear taking root that it might unravel all I held dear. However, one thing stood out unmistakably. The gatherings and dialogues we shared had woven themselves into the very fabric of my existence. It's unfathomable to envision a world devoid of their presence. The swirl of feelings and emotions, that peculiar blend of attraction and trepidation towards the unknown, marked the inception of a journey that would soon alter the course of my life irrevocably. Yet in that moment, I remained unaware of the path that lay before me and the trials that would soon unfold. The following morning, following my evening dialogue with Ethan, I awoke enveloped in a feeling of disquiet. His presence lingered in my mind, refusing to fade away. A realization dawned upon me, one that hinted at a bond transcending mere friendship, and it filled me with trepidation. David arrived late in the evening, and the morning unfolded with the familiar cadence of routine. As I prepared breakfast, he recounted tales of his journey. "Lena, are you all right?" he inquired, observing my preoccupation. "Indeed, I am well, though a touch weary," I responded, attempting to mask my genuine emotions. The day unfolded with the familiar rhythm of daily tasks. I occupied my time with household chores, tended to the garden, and sought to divert my mind from thoughts of Ethan. Yet everything in my surroundings echoed his presence. Each minute detail within our home, every nook of the garden where our conversations unfolded. As the evening descended and David came home from work, we chose to enjoy each other's company. indulging in a movie and sharing dinner on the terrace. The following day, I encountered Ethan once more in the garden, engaged in the task of mending the fence. He seemed absorbed in his work, prompting me to draw near. "Hi, Ethan," I said, making an effort to mask the thrill that tinged my voice. "I appreciate your assistance with the fence." "You're welcome, Lena," he replied with a smile. "It is of no consequence." We stood near each other and an undeniable tension lingered in the air between us. I attempted to dismiss it, yet its presence was overwhelming. "How is David faring?" Ethan inquired, attempting to shift the focus of the conversation. "He's well, having returned from his business trip. A touch weary yet satisfied," I replied. Ethan nodded, and for a brief moment silence lingered in the air between us. His gaze seemed to penetrate the very depths of my soul, stirring a sense of unease within me. As the evening descended, I resolved to invite a friend for dinner, seeking a reprieve from the relentless grip of my obsessive thoughts. Sophie, my dear friend of many years, possessed an uncanny ability to elevate my mood. We enjoyed a delightful evening, reflecting on the past and sharing laughter over cherished memories. Yet, even her presence failed to fully divert my mind from thoughts of Ethan. Several days slipped by, and I made an effort to steer clear of Ethan. Yet, on a particular morning, as I made my way back from the store, I caught sight of him once more. He stood beside his home, engaged in conversation with another man. I attempted to slip by without drawing attention, yet he caught sight of me and offered a wave. "Hello, Lena," he called out. I found myself unable to look away and decided to draw closer. "Greetings, Ethan," I responded, a smile gracing my lips. "How do you fare?" "All is well. I'm merely engaged in a discussion about a project with a colleague," he remarked, gesturing toward the man beside him. "Lena, allow me to introduce you to my friend Ryan," he said, ushering me into the circle of his colleagues. As we exchanged pleasantries, I couldn't help but feel the weight of Ethan's gaze upon me, his attention unwavering. It stirred a sense of unease within me, yet I endeavored to maintain my composure. Upon my return home, my mind wandered back to Ethan. I came to understand that evading him was no longer feasible and that our emotions were increasingly evident. As the sun dipped below the horizon and David came home from his day at work, we made the choice to share the evening in each other's company. We prepared a delightful dinner and settled on the terrace, savoring the gentle warmth of the summer evening. "You seem lost in thought," David remarked as he filled my glass with wine. "Is there an issue?" "No, I was merely contemplating various matters," I responded, attempting to conceal my genuine emotions. As we sat side by side, engaged in a conversation about inconsequential things, I sensed a growing turmoil within me. My affection for David intertwined with the burgeoning emotions for Ethan, leaving me in a state of uncertainty about my next steps. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the world, I chose to retreat to the garden while David toiled away late into the night. As I lounged on the terrace, a book in one hand and a glass of wine in the other, a familiar voice drifted into my ears. "Hello, Lena." It was Ethan. "Would it be all right if I joined you?" I inclined my head and he approached nearer. As we sat side by side, engaged in conversation about the minutiae of life, an unspoken connection began to blossom between us. "You know, Lena," he began, his gaze locked onto mine, "I've been reflecting deeply on our relationship. My emotions demand attention. My heart raced with intensity. Words eluded me. We lingered in silence, and I sensed an unfamiliar, exhilarating tension blossoming between us. "Ethan," I started, but he softly cut me off. "Allow me to conclude," he stated. "You are truly remarkable, and I feel fortunate that our paths crossed. I have no desire to disrupt your existence. Yet I cannot dismiss the emotions that stir within me. These words stirred my thoughts. Deep down, I sensed an undeniable connection between us. Yet I found myself hesitant to confront that truth within my own heart. My affection for David was genuine and profound, yet my emotions for Ethan were intensifying. That evening I arrived home, my mind swirling with a tumult of thoughts and emotions. Confusion enveloped me as I grappled with the dynamics between Ethan and myself, a gnawing fear taking root that it might unravel all that I held dear. Yet, one truth stood unmistakably evident. The meetings and conversations we shared had woven themselves into the very fabric of my existence, and the thought of a life devoid of them felt utterly unimaginable. Days had slipped by since Ethan laid bare his heart to me. Avoiding one another proved to be a challenge in our close-knit neighborhood. Each time he came into view, my heart would quicken, and I sensed an exhilarating and perilous connection blossoming between us. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the streets, I chose to wander through the neighborhood while David toiled away at his late-night work. As I strolled through the tranquil streets, I savored the refreshing embrace of the evening breeze. In an instant, a voice pierced the silence, calling out my name. It was Ethan. He lingered on the threshold of his home, a smile gracing his lips. "Hello, Lena," he said, approaching me with a casual stride. "Taking a stroll, are we?" "Indeed," I said, stepping outside for a breath of fresh air, all the while concealing the tumult of emotions within me. "May I accompany you?" he inquired. I inclined my head and we strolled side by side. We strolled in quietude, savoring the serenity around us. The sound of our footsteps reverberated through the desolate streets, and I sensed the tension between us intensifying. "Lena," Ethan suddenly declared, shattering the stillness. "This can no longer be overlooked. You occupy my thoughts daily." I paused and turned my gaze toward him. His eyes brimmed with sincerity and fervor. My heart fluttered unexpectedly. "Ethan," I started, but he cut me off. "No, allow me to complete my thought," he insisted. "I'm aware that this is misguided, yet I find myself unable to conceal my emotions. Your presence holds great significance for me, Lena." His words struck me with the force of a sudden storm. Words eluded me. We lingered in quietude, and I sensed an unfamiliar, daunting yet alluring connection blossoming between us. In an unexpected moment, Ethan drew nearer to me. His hand lingered on my cheek, and I could feel my heart racing with each passing moment. As our gazes intertwined, it dawned on me that resisting this emotion was no longer an option. "Lena," he murmured, his voice brimming with fervor. I longed to press my lips against yours. I was unable to find the time to reply. As his lips brushed against mine, the universe around us faded into oblivion. It marked the beginning of something beautiful, our first kiss. Softly intense, yet brimming with fervor. His warmth seeped into the very core of my being, and in that moment I understood that retreat was not an option. We lingered in quietude, relishing the instant. His arms encircled me, enveloping me in a sense of safety and longing. This kiss marked the dawn of an exhilarating and perilous journey, yet I found myself unable to resist. As we finally separated, I caught a glimpse of the blaze within his gaze. His gaze held a fervor that rendered me utterly powerless to resist. "Lena," he murmured, drawing me nearer. "I'm aware that this is not right, yet I can no longer turn a blind eye to it. Your significance in my life is immeasurable." My heart felt as though it was being ripped to shreds. My affection for David ran deep and genuine, yet my emotions for Ethan were increasingly apparent and impossible to resist. "Ethan, I'm at a loss," I confessed, grappling with the whirlwind of my feelings. "I am united in marriage with David, and my affection for him runs deep." "I understand," Ethan replied, taking a step back, "but I can't conceal my emotions. There's something undeniably unique about you, Lena, and I find it impossible to overlook." We remained quiet, and I sensed the conflict within. My emotions for Ethan ran deep, yet I feared the potential devastation it could bring to my family. Ethan, we must tread lightly, I urged, searching for an escape from this predicament. I wish to avoid causing David any pain. I understand, he replied, his voice heavy with sorrow. But I cannot conceal my emotions. Your significance in my life is immeasurable, Lena. That evening I arrived home, my mind swirling with a tumult of thoughts and feelings. David had returned home, and we shared the evening in each other's company. I endeavored to conceal my feelings, yet the memories of Ethan lingered persistently in my mind. The moment our lips met, the world shifted beneath me, leaving me adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Their essence, a complex tapestry of feelings and emotions, weaves together an enigmatic attraction intertwined with a palpable fear of the unknown. All things marked the dawn of a transformation that would soon alter the course of my existence irrevocably. I realized that my bond with Ethan had transcended the bounds of mere friendship, and it held the potential to unravel everything I cherished. Yet, I came to understand that retreat was no longer an option. Several days had slipped by since that unforgettable first kiss. Avoiding Ethan proved to be quite the challenge. We resided in close proximity, and I encountered him nearly every day. With each fleeting glance exchanged, my heart raced with an intensity one could scarcely comprehend. Deep down, I sensed that an unspoken connection was blossoming between us, yet I found myself hesitant to confront that truth within my own heart. As the evening wore on and David found himself immersed in yet another late-night work session, a message from Ethan arrived, breaking the solitude. He extended an invitation for dinner at his residence. After much contemplation, I ultimately found myself in agreement. My heart whispered one truth, while my mind echoed a different refrain. I recognized the potential repercussions, yet the allure was simply too strong to resist. As I neared Ethan's house, the darkness had already enveloped the surroundings. He greeted me at the door, his smile wide and inviting. "Hello, Lena," he said, his gaze filled with warmth. "It brings me joy that you have arrived." I returned the smile and stepped inside the house. Within the confines of the room, every detail was meticulously arranged for an enchanting evening of romance. The table was adorned with flickering candles, a bottle of wine, and artfully arranged dishes that beckoned to be savored. The ambience was warm and captivating. Everything appears splendid," Ethan I remarked, surveying the surroundings. "Your efforts were considerable." "All for you, Lena," he said as he poured us some wine. "Let us raise our glasses to the beauty of this evening." We gathered around the table and began our meal. The dialogue flowed effortlessly, imbued with a sense of ease and tranquility. We chuckled, reflected on days gone by, and exchanged our aspirations. The wine poured generously, and I sensed the tension between us intensifying. Following dinner, we transitioned to the living room, where we carried on sipping wine. Ethan settled beside me on the couch, and I sensed his hand softly brush against mine. "Lena, are you aware of your uniqueness?" His voice carried a gentle weight, imbued with a solemnity that commanded attention. As I gazed into his eyes, I recognized the same fervor that stirred within me. My heart raced with intensity. "Ethan, I started to say, but he softly cut me off. "No, allow me to complete my thought," he insisted. "The time has come for me to reveal my true emotions. You hold great significance in my life." These words hit with the force of a thunderbolt. Words eluded me. We lingered in quietude, and I sensed an unfamiliar and perilous connection blossoming between us. In an unexpected moment, he drew closer and pressed his lips against mine. This kiss brimmed with fervor and longing. His lips were warm and soft, and a surge of heat enveloped me. Our lips met, and with each kiss, a blaze of passion surged, setting our emotions alight. His arms encircled me, and I sensed my body reacting to his caress. It felt as though one had stepped into a dream, a realm where all boundaries and prohibitions faded away. With a gentle strength, Ethan scooped me up and cradled me in his arms, transporting me to the sanctuary of the bedroom. His kisses grew increasingly fervent and demanding. We collapsed onto the bed, and I sensed his hands traverse my body, discovering each line and curve with a gentle touch. "Lena, you're so beautiful," he whispered, his gaze locked onto mine. His words swept me away, erasing all else from my mind. I yielded entirely to the present moment. Our lips met, igniting a fervent exchange brimming with longing and intensity. His hands roamed over my body, and I could feel my heart racing. Our bodies fused seamlessly, and his touch sparked a flame deep within me. We intertwined in a dance of passion, and it felt like enchantment. Every movement he made, every kiss ignited a sense of vitality and desire within me. In the quiet aftermath, we reclined next to one another, entwined in a gentle embrace, and I sensed the rhythmic pulse of my heart harmonizing with his. In that instant, I understood that our bond had transcended the boundaries of friendship, threatening to unravel everything I held dear. Yet I came to realize that retreat was no longer an option. The following day, in the wake of that unforgettable evening with Ethan, I awoke burdened by a heavy heart and a swirl of conflicting emotions. On one hand, a sense of guilt washed over me regarding David. Yet, I found it impossible to erase the fervor I had felt with Ethan. A wholly unfamiliar emotion enveloped me, taking over every part of my being. I endeavored to navigate my day as I typically would, yet the persistent thoughts of Ethan clung to me like a shadow. With each encounter, my heart raced, and the undeniable spark between us flared anew. We endeavored to maintain our separation, yet it proved utterly unfeasible. As our gazes intertwined, an undeniable urge surged within me, one I realized I could no longer contain. Several days later, as David toiled away at his job, a message from Ethan found its way to me. "Join me. Your absence is unbearable." My heart came to a sudden halt. Though I was aware of its wrongness, the allure proved too strong to resist. With haste, I prepared myself and made my way to his residence. As I stepped inside, Ethan enveloped me in his embrace, and I sensed his warmth seep into the very depths of my being. Silence enveloped us. Our kisses conveyed what words could not. Thus commenced the clandestine chapter of our romance. Thereafter, our gatherings transformed into a consistent affair. We sought out those fleeting instances when David was either immersed in his work or lost in slumber, carving out precious moments to share together. Each encounter brimmed with fervor and longing. Ethan possessed an uncanny ability to make me feel cherished, desired, and indispensable. One evening, as David lingered at work, I took it upon myself to pay a visit to Ethan. He awaited my arrival, a glass of wine in hand and a soft smile gracing his lips. We lounged on the couch, engaging in lively conversation and bursts of laughter. The wine poured generously, and I sensed the tension between us intensifying. "Lena, you have no idea how glad I am that you're here," Ethan said, his gaze locked onto mine. "I am as well, Ethan," I responded, sensing my heart race even more fervently. Our lips met, igniting a fire of passion and longing with every kiss. His arms encircled me, and I sensed my body reacting to his caress. It felt as though one had stepped into a dream, a realm where all boundaries and prohibitions melted away. Our gatherings grew increasingly frequent and fervent. We cherished each fleeting moment in each other's company. During David's hours at work, I would dash over to Ethan, We savored one another's company, and every moment felt as exhilarating as the very first. Deep down, I was aware of the error, yet I found myself unable to resist. On one of those evenings, when David found himself once more delayed at work, I took it upon myself to prepare dinner for Ethan and me. Upon arriving at his abode, he welcomed me with a wide, inviting smile. "Hello, Lena," he said, enveloping me in a warm embrace. "Your appearance is truly remarkable." "Thank you, Ethan," I said, a smile gracing my lips. "I have crafted something extraordinary for our enjoyment." We savored our meal, relished the wine, and cherished the moments spent together. The twilight was infused with fervor and gentleness. Ethan had a remarkable way of making me feel cherished. We shared laughter, engaged in conversation, and exchanged kisses. Once the meal had concluded, we transitioned to the bedroom. His kisses grew increasingly fervent and demanding. We collapsed onto the bed, and I sensed his hands sweep over my body, tracing every line and curve. Weeks had slipped by since Ethan and I started our regular meetings. The tension within me began to swell. David and I continued to share a home, yet my emotions toward him had grown tangled and uncertain. I cherished him, yet whenever I found myself in Ethan's presence, an undeniable passion and desire surged within me, demanding my attention. One morning after David had departed for work, I found myself seated on the terrace, lost in contemplation about the unfolding events. My heart lay in tatters. I realized I could no longer persist in this manner. It was a pivotal moment when I found myself faced with a decision. I came to the understanding that I had done David a disservice. He was an extraordinary partner, devoted and nurturing in every way. I realized that this ephemeral entanglement with Ethan had the potential to unravel our very existence. I found myself at a crossroads, compelled to sever ties with my neighbor and reveal the truth to David. Summoning every ounce of bravery within me, I resolved to confront Ethan and share my choice with him. That evening, while David toiled away at his job, I made my way to Ethan's. He welcomed me with a smile, yet I could perceive the awareness of my unease in his eyes. "Hello, Lena," he said, his gaze soft and affectionate as it met mine. "Is there an issue at hand?" "Ethan, we must have a conversation," I responded, striving to project assurance. We settled into the couch, and I started to share my emotions with him. I conveyed my deep affection for David, admitting that my connection with Ethan had been a misstep. "I understand," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "Yet, I find it impossible to conceal my emotions. Your presence holds great significance for me, Lena. You hold a significant place in my heart as well." "Ethan," I responded, my eyes brimming with tears. "Yet, I must bring this to a close. I can no longer continue to exist in falsehood." We embraced, and I sensed the warmth of his arms enveloping me for the final time. The farewell was steeped in sorrow, yet deep down, I understood it was the necessary course of action. Upon my return home, I found David already present. He observed my unease and inquired about the source of my distress. I resolved that the time had come to unveil the truth I had kept concealed. "David, we need to talk," I began, my heart racing in my chest. "I have a revelation to share with you." He positioned himself opposite me, his gaze fixed upon me with unwavering intensity. I started to narrate the events that unfolded between Ethan and myself. I embraced honesty and transparency, concealing nothing. As the minutes ticked by, I could see the anger and pain etched upon his features. Upon completion, David was seething with anger. His eyes blazed with fury, and I could feel my heart shatter under the weight of guilt. "How could you?" he shouted, rising from his chair. "How could you betray me like this?" "David," I apologized as tears flowed down my cheeks. "I recognize my mistakes and I am prepared to do whatever it takes to rectify them." My heart is yours, and the thought of losing you fills me with dread. He remained still, his breath quickening with fury. I was acutely aware that I had shattered the foundation of our trust, and the path to mending it would be fraught with challenges. Are you aware that this has the potential to destroy everything? His voice, though soft, resonated with deep sorrow. Indeed, I acknowledged, a tightening sensation gripping my heart as fear washed over me. Yet, I am prepared to go to any lengths to restore your faith in me. I sincerely apologize, and I assure you it will not occur again. David remained quiet for an extended moment, reflecting on what I had said. I observed him wrestling with his own thoughts, searching for the next step to take. I don't know if I can forgive you, he finally uttered, his voice laced with bitterness. Yet I am certain of my love for you. If you are truly committed to nurturing our relationship, I am open to giving it a chance. My heart swelled with hope. I understood the challenges ahead, yet I was prepared to battle for our love. In the days and weeks that followed, David and I engaged in numerous conversations, striving to mend the fabric of our relationship. Though the path was fraught with difficulty, I perceived his earnest efforts to comprehend and extend forgiveness towards me. I came to realize that a shift in my behavior was essential and that I must devote greater attention to our marriage. Our dialogues brimmed with sincerity and sorrow, yet they were also infused with a sense of hope. We started to share more moments, rekindling the bonds that united us and striving to rebuild the trust that had been lost. David recognized that his lack of attention towards me had contributed to the events that unfolded. One evening, as we lingered on the terrace beneath the vast expanse of stars, he gently took my hand and said, "Lena, I love you, and I am ready to forgive you, provided you promise it will never occur again." "I promise, David," I replied, my cheeks wet with tears of joy. "I will spare no effort in my quest to win back your trust and affection." That moment marked the dawn of our new journey. We were acutely aware that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, yet we stood prepared to invest our efforts into nurturing our bond. I came to realize that our love was more powerful than any obstacle and that together we could conquer all challenges that lay ahead. Following that frank discussion with David, the dynamics of our relationship started to shift. We both recognized that a challenging journey awaited us in our quest to restore trust, yet we were prepared to do whatever it took for the sake of our love. The burden of guilt slowly faded, making space for the promise of a fresh start. Each morning began with subtle yet meaningful transformations. We endeavored to carve out more moments together, sharing our aspirations and visions just as we once did. Breakfast, once a mere ritual of simplicity, transformed into a cherished moment of connection and intimacy. We gathered around the table, savoring our coffee as we engaged in a dialogue, exchanging thoughts and emotions that had long lingered in silence. David started to focus more on the interests we both cherished. We rekindled our evening strolls through the neighborhood, a cherished tradition from days gone by. These strolls transformed into a chance to rekindle our bond and reflect on the reasons that ignited our love. We clasped our hands together, savoring the stillness and tranquility of the evening. One significant stride in the journey of restoring trust involved dedicating more moments to each other within the comforts of home. David proposed that we embark on collaborative ventures that might draw us nearer together. Our journey commenced with the modest yet fulfilling endeavors of home and garden renovations. These endeavors not only diverted our minds from unsettling thoughts, but also fostered collaboration, deepening our connection. One evening, as we lingered on the terrace, basking in the warmth of the summer twilight, David proposed that we indulge in a quaint picnic in our garden. We spread a blanket, brought along snacks and wine, and savored the pleasure of each other's company. There was a moment when we could unwind, converse, and simply exist in each other's company. "Lena, I want us to start over," David said, his gaze locked onto mine. "I understand the challenges ahead, yet I am prepared to battle for our love. I am as well, David, I responded, my heart swelling with hope. I am committed to doing whatever it takes to earn back your trust and affection. That evening was filled with conversations about our aspirations and visions for what lay ahead. This marked a significant stride in rekindling our bond. We initiated a conversation about how we might fortify our bond and avoid the repetition of previous errors. One of those choices was to dedicate more time to one another, embark on journeys, and explore uncharted territories. David proposed that we embark on a brief getaway, a chance to escape the mundane and immerse ourselves in solitude, free from the burdens of daily life. We selected a charming nook by the lake, a place where we could savor the beauty of nature and the warmth of each other's company. This getaway opened our eyes in ways we never anticipated. Our days unfolded amidst the beauty of scenic trails, the gentle lapping of water as we boated, and the sweet embrace of solitude. As dusk fell, we gathered around the flickering flames, engaging in conversation while the stars twinkled above us. This moment granted us the opportunity to release the weight of the past and direct our gaze toward the horizon of our future. Upon our return home, a profound sense of deepening connection enveloped me. We began to cultivate a deeper trust, engaging in open dialogues about our emotions. David recognized that he had fallen short in offering me the attention I deserved and was making an effort to amend that. He started to linger more within the comforts of home, and we found ourselves embracing family evenings filled with movie marathons and the joy of cooking dinners side by side. One evening, as we lounged on the couch, engrossed in a movie, David abruptly turned to me and declared, "Lena, I want you to know that I love you more than anything in the world. I appreciate your honesty and the way we navigated this together." Tears began to gather in my eyes. These were tears born from joy and a deep sense of gratitude. Though the journey ahead loomed large, a sense of certainty enveloped me, assuring that we were indeed treading the right course. "I adore you as well, David," I responded, enveloping him in an embrace. "I appreciate your understanding and support." Our bond deepened as we started to focus more on one another. We recognized the significance of honesty and openness, of expressing our feelings and thoughts. We embarked on a journey to cultivate a love that was both robust and authentic. One of our resolutions was to dedicate more moments to the great outdoors together. We began to indulge in picnics, cycle through the streets, and leisurely stroll in the park. These endeavors allowed us to unwind and savor the moments spent together. David proposed that we embark on shared hobbies together. We embarked on a journey into gardening, cultivating a vibrant array of flowers and nourishing vegetables. The experience was captivating, fostering a sense of connection as we collaborated and reveled in the rewards of our efforts. The twilight hours transformed into a sanctuary for connection and intimacy. Our conversations deepened as we exchanged our aspirations and visions for what lay ahead. These dialogues deepened our understanding of one another and fortified our connection. Slowly, I sensed my heart swell with affection and appreciation. I came to understand that our love transcended all, and together we could conquer any challenge that lay before us. I stood poised to battle for our joy, determined to do whatever it took to restore David's faith in me. The alterations in our existence signified the dawn of a fresh chapter for us. We came to cherish each moment spent together, realizing that the essence of life lies in love and the unwavering support we offer one another. We understood that a considerable journey lay before us, yet we were prepared to face it side by side. Each day, I reflect on the gratitude I feel for David's ability to forgive me, and for the resilience we discovered to embark on a fresh beginning. I have come to understand the significance of mastering my emotions and resisting the allure of transient desires. Life imparted a stern lesson, yet from its depths I emerged more resilient and enlightened. I wish to convey this to you, hoping that my narrative may offer you some insights. Everyone stumbles at times, yet it is crucial to recognize those missteps and strive to amend them. The essence of any relationship lies in love and trust, and these pillars should never be compromised for fleeting indulgences. When you find your emotions overwhelming, take a moment to reflect on the potential outcomes. Do not allow fleeting vulnerabilities to dismantle the foundation you have painstakingly constructed over the years. Hold dear those who are near to your heart, and keep in mind that trust requires careful cultivation and ongoing attention. I erred, yet I discovered that love and forgiveness possess the power to transcend any challenge. I have come to understand the importance of mastering my emotions and cherishing the ones I hold close to my heart. It is my sincere wish that my narrative serves as a guiding light, steering you away from missteps and nurturing the strength and authenticity of your connections.